The first option type is called a call option. At a very high level, call option prices will increase as the stock price increases, and call option prices will decrease as the stock price decreases. So the price of call options moves with the stock price. But why do call option prices move with the stock price? Well, a call option gives the buyer the right to buy 100 shares of stock at the call option strike price between now and the expiration date of that option. Remember that one of the characteristics of all options is that they have a strike price. And for call options, the call option can be used to purchase 100 shares of stock at the call option's strike price. And as we'll see in an example in just a moment, the ability to purchase shares at the call option strike price, which never changes, will get immensely valuable if the stock price increases significantly higher than that call option strike price, because the option can then be used to purchase shares of stock at a steep discount to the current share price. So without getting into an actual option or stock market example just yet, let's explore what a call option does and how it works by using a very simple example. Let's imagine that there is a house, and the current value of this house is $200,000. Now, I am personally interested in buying this house because I think that the value of the house is going to appreciate significantly over the next 2 years. But I don't want to buy the house right this second. So I'm going to buy an option that gives me the right to buy the house at a price of $200,000 between now and 2 years from now. So we can call the strike price $200,000, since my option that I'm buying on this house gives me the right to buy the house for $200,000, or at the strike price of $200,000 between now and the expiration date in 2 years from now. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy this option that gives me the right to buy this house for $200,000, no matter what the house price does between now and 2 years from now. But I don't just get the ability to purchase this house for $200,000 between now and 2 years from now for free. I have to pay for this contract because for me, there has to be some sort of risk. There can't just be reward. If somebody were to say, you can buy this house for $200,000 between now and 2 years from now, no matter what, and you don't have to pay for that right at all. Well, that would be amazing for me, because if the house price falls, I don't have to buy the house. But if the house price goes up to $300,000, then I can buy the house at $200,000, and there was never any risk for me, but there was only reward. So that's not a real scenario, and for me, there has to be some risk. And what that means is that I have to pay a premium for the right to buy this house at $200,000 between now and 2 years from now. So we would call that the option premium. Let's say that I pay $10,000 for this option. So I'm saying I want to buy this house for $200,000, which is the strike price, between now and 2 years from now, which is the expiration date. And my premium for having that ability over that time frame is $10,000. Now let's say that 1 year from now, the house is valued at $350,000. I have possession of a financial contract that gives me the right to purchase that house for $200,000. And with the house currently valued at $350,000, what do you think that means for the value of the financial contract that I have, which is called an option? Well, as you might imagine, since I can buy the house for $200,000, but the house is currently valued at $350,000, the financial contract that I have, which is called an option, is immensely valuable. So now I can actually exercise my option, meaning that I will buy the house at the strike price, which is $200,000. And since the house is currently valued at $350,000, I am buying something that is worth $350,000 for a value of $200,000. And because of that, we could say that my profit from this scenario is $150,000. So